few record labels carry the same legendary weight in American music history as Chess Records. Founded in Chicago in 1950 by Polish immigrant brothers Leonard and Phil Chess, the label became the epicenter of electrified blues and an essential launching pad for rock and roll. At a time when Chicago was buzzing with post-war migration and musical experimentation, Chess captured the raw sounds of the city's South Side clubs and transformed them into recordings that would inspire generations. With a roster that included Chuck Berry, Bo Diddley, Muddy Waters, Howlin Wolf, and Etta James, Chess Records did more than release records. It laid the foundation for modern rock and roll. What set Chess apart was its focus on electric blues. Artists like Muddy Waters and Howlin Wolf were already stars in the vibrant Chicago club scene, but Chess gave them national reach. Songs such as Hoochie Coochie Man and Smokestack Lightning showcase the gritty power of amplified blues, introducing a wider audience to music that was both deeply rooted in tradition and shockingly modern. These records influenced young musicians on both sides of the Atlantic, including the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, and Led Zeppelin, who would later bring blues-based rock into stadiums worldwide. The label also made history with Chuck Berry, whose guitar riffs and storytelling lyrics helped define rock and roll itself. Hits like Maybelline, Johnny Be Good, and Roll Over Beethoven not only topped charts, but also provided the blueprint for future rock bands. Berry's blend of blues rhythm, country twang, and teenage themes captured the energy of a new generation, and Chess Records was the platform that made it possible. Bo Diddley added another cornerstone to the Chess catalog, bringing his unique rhythm, later known as the Bo Diddley beat, to hits like Bo Diddley and I'm a Man. His innovations with rhythm, stage presence, and guitar experimentation shaped rock, R&B, and soul for decades to come. The influence of the Chess roster wasn't limited to men, however. Etta James, one of the label's brightest stars, recorded timeless classics such as At Last and I'd Rather Go Blind, proving that Chess Records was also instrumental in elevating women's voices in blues and soul. One of Chess Records' greatest strengths was its willingness to record a variety of styles that crossed genres. In addition to blues and early rock, the label released gospel, jazz, and R&B, making it one of the most diverse and culturally important music companies of its time. Its studio at 2120 South Michigan Avenue became a pilgrimage site for musicians around the world, immortalized in songs like the Rolling Stones' 21D20 South Michigan Avenue. The Chess sound was raw, immediate, and authentic. The label's engineers and producers knew how to capture the electricity of a live performance and transfer it to vinyl without losing its soul. This approach stood in stark contrast to more polished recordings coming out of other cities, giving Chess an identity that resonated deeply with listeners who wanted music that felt real. By the late 1960s, as rock bands in the US and the UK openly credited Chess artists as their biggest inspirations, the label's influence became undeniable. Although it was eventually sold to GRT in 1969 and ceased operations in the 1970s, its legacy continues to shine. Chess Records helped invent the very language of rock and roll and preserve the golden era of Chicago blues. Its catalog remains one of the most important collections of 20th century music, studied, celebrated, and reissued for new generations. Chess Records is more than just a label. It is the story of how a small family-run business in Chicago captured lightning in a bottle. It gave us Chuck Berry's riffs, Bo Diddley's rhythms, Muddy Waters' growl, and Etta James' soul. Without Chess, rock and roll as we know it simply would not exist.